What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote, and maybe you could have me at your next event. You know I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Are you not entertained? Let me entertain you. Today on the program, I'm veering away from entertainment. Today, it's education. Today, it's health. Today, it's science. My main man, John William Canada III. Yeah, the author and mentor for people with epilepsy. The man had epilepsy for 41 years till he got a surgery, and boom, no epilepsy. And now, with that knowledge of how he did it, he's helping other people. So excited to talk to him in the next few minutes. So stick around. This week's shows, I have one public show, my usual Friday night gig at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. The Video Dance Party Karaoke Jam. Yes, I said karaoke. You're the stars of the show on Friday nights from 8 p.m. until till 12:30 in the AM. Yeah, almost 1. 8 p.m. until 12:30 in the AM. We got a video dance party karaoke jam, a little concert starring each and every one of you. Bring all your friends out to the Rab, 21 and over. I know, it's an adult party. They got a full bar, kitchens open, pool tables. They got a pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to try your hand at playing pool and possibly make some money while you're doing it, you check out the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Good times, good people. Always a good time at the Rab. And then on Saturday, I have a corporate event. Not just a corporate event, it's kind of a corporate event, but a children's event, kind of a people's event. Let's put it that way. But unless you're invited, you cannot come. It's all the way up in, well, I'm not even going to tell you where it's at because it's kind of a small town. I think you could find me. So, yeah, it's here in Arkansas somewhere, but I'm excited. It's a group that I get to do parties for about 3-4 times a year. And I'm stoked that I'm able to be with them. It's, it's some people that are mentally atypical. Let's put it that way. And I get to entertain and play for them and play with them. Always a good time. They're always so appreciative, and I'm always so appreciative of them. That's on Saturday. So unless you're invited, you cannot come. But why do I mention it? Because I'm stoked that I get to be a part of the show, and I get to play for the people, play with the people, and show them a good time. Give them a good time because they deserve it. The people need to be entertained. All right, let's get into it with John William Canada III. I got him on Zoom. So if you're listening to the audio version of this, check out the video version on my YouTube page, youtube.com/user/KeysDan. Zooming John William Canada III now. Oh my goodness, look at that handsome man on my screen. What is happening? Oh my gosh, man. You get better and better looking every time I see you. I like it. It's got to be all that running, all that good living, good family life, and a successful career and helping people. You're becoming the great American hero I always knew you were, John W. Canada III. In a long line of Canadas. What is happening, my man?
What's happening? Well, I am continuing my growth from surgery in 2013. And the good Lord's got a hold of me, and I founded Rewired Brain Mentorship.
Well, anybody that listened to the last podcast, and my loyal listener, I know you listened and you heard the story of John Canada, his humble beginnings from Hialeah, which was a surprise for me. I never knew that you were from Hialeah. You know, I was born in Miami myself, but we knew each other in Fort Lauderdale since about 1982. I was in 9th grade. You were in 10th grade. And we got to know each other through comedy records. Maybe some of them were problematic nowadays, but sadly, you know, the comedians of our youth are the ones that brought us together, are happily in that respect. But sadly, you know, people are complicated. And that's why, you know, you have people like you in the police force that are analyzing, that are helping people out. And you do so many things. There's so many avenues that we can explore. We're just updating because you started off as an architect. I always thought that you were going to draft something and build big giant skyscrapers or maybe humble homes. Is that still in the back of your brain, that creative urge or the creative need or want to draw? Do you still do that?
You glitched there for a minute.
Okay, all right. How much of that did you get, man?
I didn't get any of it. You glitched.
Oh, okay, all right. No, this technology is great. But I mean, you had humble beginnings in Miami and you know, Hialeah, and grew up in Fort Lauderdale, and we got to know each other, and we became close through comedy. And I was just talking about some of the comedy records. Some of them might be problematic now, but you know, yeah, people are complicated. But that's why we need superheroes like you that can analyze and sift through the minutia of people and their they're good and they're bad, and you got to figure out if it's more good or more bad, or so much bad they got to go to a place to help make them better.
Yeah.
But I was talking about, you started off, I mean, anybody that listened to the last podcast knows your beginnings and you know, where you were up to then. Now we're just updating. We're really, I'm just trying to find out where you are now. And, you know, you came out of Fort Lauderdale. Somehow you threw the drafting thing away, the architecture thing away, and you got into the Broward County Sheriffs. I think that had something to do with John Canada, the junior, your dad. He was working with the government a little bit, and he helped you to slide in there. Maybe opened a door for you. You know, tell me, refresh me on how that happened, how you got into the Broward.
So Broward I worked in the HR department just to get in the agency in Broward County around the time of 9/11. And I was there for a year, and then I went and worked in truancy enforcement as a crime analyst, which began my crime analyst career. I did that for about 10 years. And then we moved to, I thought, the recession happened. They were shutting units down. So I took the next step I thought was the next logical step for me, which I went to Bank of America in North Carolina.
How did you make that jump? Because, okay, you're giving people a little bit of a timeline. You started with the Broward County Sheriffs as in the HR department, and you say around 9/11, so that gives us 2001. And then you say the bubble, that gives us 2008 or 9, somewhere around there is when that bubble happened. And then somehow you went to a bank during a recession?
Yeah, actually, it was 2011, 2012, right after the recession. And then the job, I liked the job, the management, not great, but I really believe in hindsight that the whole reason for me to go there was for my stress level to be tested, for the epilepsy to get worse, and for me to get referred to a epileptologist who then would recommend me having brain surgery.
Yeah, knowing you for so long, I've had plenty of times where I've observed the epilepsy and growing up, and my loyal listener, John Canada, had epilepsy for 41 years that he went through it, and he had medicine that when you described it to me, it was always, this thing would take down an elephant. It would take down a horse. This medicine that I'm taking would take down the normal person. And you had this type of epilepsy that was so, it was resistant to many medicines, and they kept, giving you different prescriptions that were more and more. And I remember seeing some of your epileptic seizures where, okay, you were playing pinball one time, and it was so small that you kept the ball going even during a seizure. But then I've seen some to where you lose all your faculties, and nobody needs to live like that. And I'm glad that you found this surgery after 41 years of living through this, to where you couldn't drive, you couldn't, quote unquote, live like a normal person. You always had to have the idea that this epileptic seizure might stop whatever you were doing. And if you were operating machinery or, even on a bicycle, much less a vehicle, a car of any kind, you might hurt yourself or hurt others if you had a seizure. I mean, tell me, were there any close calls in those 41 years to where you would have hurt yourself or caused somebody else some pain?
There was a couple car accidents once I got my license that caused problems. One of them, I broke my patella in '95 on my right patella, which is pretty key because I started running after that. The other one was really going home. I was a block or two from the house, and I just blacked out.
Yeah,
didn't hit anybody. It was a miracle that I didn't hit anybody, because I went across 4 lanes of traffic and didn't hit one car.
Well, that's
there were incidents where God's hand was on my life. Nope, not today. So yeah, but I persevered until I got to North Carolina and got surgery.
Well, I'm so happy for you that you're here, my friend, man. We've known each other for so long. I know that there's been lots of times to where, we haven't really contacted each other, but I keep track of you on your Facebook page. You have this family that's very wonderful. I know there's some there's some happy things that have happened over the last month or so, if you want to get into that or not. See, I got to tiptoe, because your job, I don't know how secretive it is. I don't know if there's any top secret stuff that you can't divulge. Being in the job that you're in, you let me know that you were working on some recent events that maybe the country's been paying attention to, and you were on special assignment. I don't even know if you could talk about that.
Well, we're just trying to keep everybody safe during the FIFA games.
Well, tell me about
the
that.
Country.
Yeah, what is it that you're analyzing with the World Cup?
We're just analyzing all the events around the games to make sure the people stay safe and no incidents happen during the games or to the players for 41 days during the whole FIFA games, which pretty much most of the games are being played in the U.S.
Yeah, and I know that the world in general is getting a better understanding of what Americans are like, because obviously if we haven't been out of this country, all we know is what we hear from, or what we read in newspapers or read in books or watch on movies and television, and get that idea of what another country is like. And I'm sure that other countries, people from other countries, will see Americans and they'll watch our cowboy movies. Bang, bang. We're all about guns and barbecue and racing cars and more guns. Bang, 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 bang. They're getting an idea that we have some kind of a culture here From what I understand, the Scots are drinking up all our beer. And some people have discovered ranch dressing for the first time, and all the ranch dressing is getting eaten up and bought out of the stores. But are you keeping track of those types of things, or is it the events themselves?
Just the events themselves and the public safety as a whole.
Okay, and then when those reports come in, your job is to sift through them and do what?
Just to compile them so that the higher ups know what's going on and how to manage any incidents, including things like weather, because weather's still a threatening thing to life. So
it sounds
we're monitoring everything.
Yeah, it sounds so fascinating to me that there's an entity that watches over us, whether we knew it or not, whether we know it or not. There's an entity that includes you, John Canada, that behind the scenes, most people would never, ever know that there is someone like you that is getting all the reports and making sure that things go smoothly or as smoothly as possible. I mean, have you had any ideas? I guess I'm going to ask the questions that I think people will want to ask. Do you know of any people gathering in events? Now they're worried about terrorist acts. Do you keep track of that as well?
We're keeping track of every threat.
Man, and I've with conspiracies in the back of my head. Was 9/11 an inside job? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, but I'm not kidding. I hope that things are on the up and up. And I'm glad that we have people like you that are watching our backs and keeping track of such things. But you mentioned running, and there was something that I did back in my 20s when I was a firefighter, was running, and I knew that tore the weight off of me. And not only that, just kept my heart in shape, the cardio part of it. And you not only ran, see what it is you take knowledge, you get knowledge, and then you want to give that knowledge back to the people. You want to teach other people, whether you like it or not, or whether you know it or not. You're a teacher, my friend, John Canada. You're a teacher, and you had the knowledge of running and the epilepsy that you're running through this. Tell me about the book. I know you touched upon it last time we talked, but you've also updated your book.
Right. So in 2015, I wrote a book called Running to a New Beginning. The initial recount of my life up through surgery and to what I had accomplished. And by that point, it was 2 years after the surgery. In a book was great therapy for me, and it was a way to say that you can have a life after brain surgery. Yeah, I just recently updated it in 2026 to include everything else that happened after that book.
What kind of
going
things are
back and getting my master's, getting accepted into federal service for a career, and just the opportunity that there needs to be advocacy for those people who are eligible for surgery, that are considering it, and for those that are post-surgery that may want some guidance on how life's lived after surgery from someone who's been through it.
Yeah, it's nice to find like-minded people and people that have gone through things. That's how we get our experience or make ourselves feel that much better about going through things. If you're going through cancer, you want to talk to some people that have had cancer before. If you're going through, if you're having a heart attack or if you're going through heart problems, you want to talk to people that specialize in those problems. I'm sure that there's doctors that specialize in epilepsy, but some of them, they might get a little too clinical. You want to get to them on a personable level, someone who's been there that can be more of a friend and an advocate rather than having the clinical, if you have this, then we have to give you this medicine. And if you have this, and you have to go through that. It gets really clinical. But if you, as a regular Joe, if you will, or a regular John, if you will, that has gone through, having epilepsy for 41 years, and then North Carolina, how did you find the doctors in North Carolina? Because you didn't initially go to North Carolina for that. You went for the bank job, but then you found some good doctors that convinced you, hey, this is the way to go.
So when I left Florida, my neurologist there referred me to somebody in North Carolina, in Charlotte. And I went to him, and then, of course, the job, the boss pressers, triggered a lot of surgery, a lot of seizures. And when I went back to report that to the neurologist, they were like, well, this is beyond my expertise. I am referring you. And that's how I got referred to Dr. Rajeev Singh in Charlotte, North Carolina, who works out of Atrium Health. He was very instrumental in getting me to and through the surgery.
Well, it's nice that you give credit where credit is due. It's nice that you mention his name, because if he's good, he could possibly help other people that have epilepsy. Now, you got epilepsy from a traumatic experience, right? Like a fall on the head.
Well, I thought so. Oh. I thought it was because there was an incident when I was little. I fell out of the car. My mom didn't let me get out of the same side of the car that I opened the door without her telling me to. Uh-huh. And then when she pulled out, I fell out. I thought that was the issue. That was the incident. But come to find out, after talking to Singh after the surgery, it was more like there was developmental cells in my brain that were just not developed, and they were firing and causing seizures and scar tissue, and all of that just compounded as the seizures happened.
Yeah, well, tell me, I know maybe an overview of epilepsy and what it is, but for my loyal listener, what is your type of epilepsy? And there has to be different types, right?
There is like 40 different types of seizures. My seizures primarily were complex partial, which are the complex partial versus like the tonic-clonic or the grand mal seizure are very hard to control with medicine. So they're not very visible, and I know you said you've seen them. They're not so visible, but they're very destructive because they just totally exhaust you when you have them. It doesn't seem like a lot to somebody seeing it, but to you, the activity just wears you out quick.
No, I remember at a dinner at Vita's. Vita's the pizza restaurant that you used to work at. I think you just kind of blacked out a little bit. Just stopped talking for a minute, and then you were right back in the conversation. I don't think I experienced you having a grand mal seizure. I don't know if you ever had one. Did you?
No, I didn't have one. I had one when I was 5 before we met. And I had one well after I think you had already moved. And I had it, and I had just had a real bad one in a restaurant in Florida. We were eating in an Italian restaurant, a whole bunch of us were at dinner. But those are the only two really grand mal kind of like ones. But the rest of them were kind of like the ones you experienced. Were very mild. People would think I was just spaced out or on something, but nothing where it caused large crowds to notice.
Yeah, and from the context that you had, you said when you were working at the bank, the high pressure, the making your brain do different things or think of different things at the same time. That is what triggered it at that point. Now, post surgery, how quick, or was there any side effects after the surgery? Did you, or were you done with epilepsy forever?
it's really amazing. They told me that, I may have some memory loss. I may have some cognitive limitations, and following the surgery, losing the weight and running, getting my master's, excelling in my job back in Florida, because I went back to Florida for 7 years after North Carolina. But the way that I moved it through in my career for that 7 years before I came to Virginia was fairly quick. My movement from one unit to another, all while doing my master's, was fairly quick. So I think I debunked all of the possible limitations that were going to happen following the surgery. It just seems like everything is Excel. I don't really have a hard time figuring anything out. Almost like the epilepsy was never there.
I'm so proud of you, man. What did you end up getting the master's in?
I ended up getting a master's in law enforcement intelligence, which is like it's a master's of science in public safety administration.
What is the correct?
It had a good amount of terrorism and federal law enforcement courses and programs.
So the curriculum was mostly dealing with the theories behind law enforcement and that kind of a thing. Was there any math and science involved? How good are you at calculus?
Yeah, it's called use the computer.
Well, I mean, hey, these computers are getting better and better, and we came from a time, the time before the computers we were so reliant on these computers. We were using pens and papers. Kids, There's a little thing called pens and papers. Have you ever heard of it? No, and I know a lot of the kids are going back to school pretty soon, and they got to get their pens and papers. I went to a local Walmart, and I saw that there was wallfuls of notebooks and papers and loose leaf and, the regular lunchbox stuff that we used to have back in the 70s and 80s. I thought every kid had a computer in their pocket, and that's what they used when they were doing their school. I didn't know that pens and paper was still a thing. I thought reading and writing was dead, unless it was on your Kindle, on your phone. But do you still, when was the last time you wrote a letter?
With a pen and paper, a very long time.
A long time. And I'm looking at all this pens and paper, and I'm like, maybe I should write my grandma a letter. I think that would be very cool. My 96-year-old grandma. Oh, love her.
Yeah.
And she's still kicking. I love that she's around. I mean, let's talk about family. How's your family doing? I know a blessed event happened recently.
Yes. My eldest daughter got married to a Marine.
Ooh-ah.
Yeah.
How is that boy? Is he good man? Good person?
Yeah, he's a good man.
All right. I know Daddy had to put him through something. I don't care if he was a Marine. You still had to have the John William Canada III seal of approval. Did you take him out hunting and clean guns and stuff in front of him? What kind of things did you do to vet him?
We just spent a lot of time together, getting to know each other, and so just having him around a lot beforehand was helpful in finding out what kind of a person he really was.
Well, I'm so glad, man. He got the proper vetting process, and congratulations to Megan. May the honeymoon never end. Mazel tov, if you will. That's fantastic. Now, you also mentioned God and spirituality. That has been a through line your whole life. Are you still as devout a Catholic as you ever were, or have you?
I consider myself a Christian. And I'm very much, I read the Bible every day, and just recently, and you could probably even find it on my site, how I really dug in and found how was God's hand on my life through these 41 years plus. And actually on my website, it tells a story of how chronologically how the impact was there the whole time.
Well, I'll have that in the show notes for sure for anybody that wants to take a look at the Rewired Brain Mentorship Advocacy. I have that link below in the show notes. Now, tell me about what you want to do as a mentor. Do you want to give public speaking, or is it one-on-one where they can, maybe do some FaceTime, or if they're close enough, you can visit with them, or do you have an office? Or how is that mentorship, able to be accessed by individual people?
Well, it can be accessed remotely via phone, via like the conversation we're having right now, or in person. But the mentorship part of it for the patients is always free. It's always a free service to any patient that is nervous about surgery or nervous about life after surgery. I also want to do speaking events to those clinicians that do the surgery, just to show, hey, this is what after surgery can look like. And just to show that the surgery can be a success for many patients, and that the advocacy can be reached through the foundation, the epilepsy foundations and societies, as well as anybody. For me, I have a specific niche in law enforcement that it's possible there's people that have the same disease in law enforcement that can benefit from knowing that you can still be someone who can analyze data, solve crimes despite the epilepsy.
Yeah. You're an American hero to me. I think that you're a crime fighter, and I imagine you just, beating up the bad guys, metaphorically speaking, maybe on paper, putting their information on Excel so law enforcement can go out and do what they do, take care of the crime on the streets. You're the guy in the office that's compiling all the evidence, compiling all that information that these people need to keep the streets safe, to keep the people safe. And I say the streets, the whole country. Yeah, and then inevitably, when you keep this country safe, you're helping the world as well. So you're thinking locally and acting globally, or vice versa. All right, but now, have you done any events or spoke to people? How is this mentorship going thus far?
So right now it looks like I'm starting to partner with the local epilepsy foundation. So there's a newsletter that's coming out of Virginia in September that's going to feature me in. I'm working with Delaware on any of their patients that have needs to be met, and I've contacted multiple others to reach out to make the connection to be able to service the areas too. It pretty much stays around Virginia for now, but my goal is to expand it, and as mentors and mentees become satisfied with their life after surgery, the development of them into mentors themselves can just expand the mission of providing the possibilities, or showing that there's possible good outcomes after surgery.
Fantastic, my friend. John Canada, you're the bestest, man. I've loved you forever, man. And since the day I knew you were going to be the coolest guy I know. And I'm not, man. Now I know that you're not going to be able to go all over the world unless, time. You are going to help a lot of people. I guess you're in the DC area, Virginia, in that area. Yeah, Northern Virginia, DC area. And that's primarily where you can help the most people one-on-one, face-to-face. But with this technology, right, with this internet, I'm all the way in Arkansas. and I'm talking to you like you were right in front of me, and I'm seeing your facial expressions, and I'm seeing what's going on, with you. It's almost as good as being right next to each other. But I do miss you, my friend, and I do want to be next to you at some point. But once again, we both have day jobs, and unless we get lots and lots of vacation time, it's hard to get together. But I'm glad that you're taking the knowledge that you've learned and you're spreading it. You're helping other people, not just through the books, but also you have the WordPress, and there's lots of information on your website. I got the link to the Amazon for your book. Your book is still available. Can they get a hardbound book, or is it?
They can get both. So you can go and get it digital and in print from Kindle. You can also go to digital to draft. If you can go to drafttodigital.com and get it on print and ebook, and lulu.com on print and ebook. And on Draft to Digital, you can also get an audiobook, which I'm developing now.
Okay. That was one thing I was going to ask you. I ask all my authors when they come on the podcast, did you read your audiobook? You're working on that. Now, you're going to have to send me the other links. I have the Amazon link, and I have your Facebook link, and I have the link to your website, so people will be able to get a hold of you there. And then I have your email as well. Any other avenues you want to explore before we get up out of here?
You can just initial contact through, if you're looking for Rewired Brain Mentorship help, through the Rewired Brain Mentorship at gmail.com. Or you can just email me at jcanada88a@gmail.com.
That's the email that I have there. But if you have any other links, go ahead and send them to me, and I'll make sure I put them right down there in the show notes or up there. I don't know how people are watching this or listening to this thing, but I'm very happy that you're here, man. It's always good to talk to you, John Canada. Anything else you want to tell the people?
Yeah, just if you're looking for any kind of guidance on how to navigate surgery from any type of epilepsy, because I've had a few different kinds, and I've been through the whole medicine regimen. So any assistance, any guidance I can provide, just contact me and we'll talk.
All right, my main man, John. All right, as time progresses, you come back on here. Any updates, you come back on here, and we'll talk some more and let the people know all about what's going on with the rewired brain. All right, I always finish these things off with last words for the people. This could be words to live by, something you heard a long time ago, maybe a mantra that you wake up with every morning, or whatever pops into your head at this moment in time. John William Canada III, give the last words for the people.
For those that are experiencing epilepsy, my advice is rewire, renew, run forward, and help others.
Well, there you have it, party people. John William Canada III, the rewired brain. The man will be your mentor. You're suffering from epileptic seizures, epilepsy on many parts of the spectrum, 40 different types of epilepsy. And the man has taken the time out to not only work as a member of the federal police department, helping in that respect, but also to learn about epilepsy and how to help other people like himself that have gone through it. And his story could help you. I mean, his story helps me know that there's hope in this world, that people are good, that, there's not just jerks out there like you see on the news all the time. There's some good people behind the scenes that don't want much. They don't want much. They want to help people. They've learned some stuff, then they teach some stuff. John William Canada III is one of those people who learns some stuff and then teaches some stuff. He learns about, the how to run and how to cope with epilepsy. And then he teaches people. You can do one-on-one. And I'd like to see him do some big speeches in front of hundreds, thousands of people. He's here to help you. Thank you, John, for being on the podcast and being my best friend for the longest time. My main man, John. Make sure that you click all the links below and find out more about this great man, John William Canada III. All right, that's it for this edition of What Makes You Famous. Now, if you, my loyal listener, if you'd like to tell your story, I encourage you to give me a call, 501-470-6386, or email keysdan@aol.com. That's it for me. It's keysdanradiowhat.com, djlittlerock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.